And welcome to the review of the Audio-Technica AT-LP3 Turntable. Now this is an archival review, so it's not quite the same as the normal reviews you might see, such as the Project Evo turntable that you may have seen last week, and if you didn't, I'll put a little link up above. The archive reviews, as I say, are just a little bit different. If you want to know how and why, again, I'll put a link up above. If you watch the first 4.5 minutes, that should explain everything. Now, I have to say that it was not my original intention to do this review at all. A viewer asked for it, actually. A viewer in the comments section. A viewer called, hang on, Batman. Yes, the Caped Crusader asked for a review of the LP3. And look, if the guy from Gotham demands a review, then who am I to refuse? After all, I value my health. But it got me thinking, and maybe you can help me out here. I was pondering on the fact that when Batman actually does get his turntable eventually, what sort of music will he listen to? Maybe you've got some suggestions here. So who would Batman's favourite band be? How about Wings' favourite LP? How about Bat Out of Hell? As for his favourite song, The Joker. Anyway, thank you Batman for suggesting this review, and let's get down to it, shall we? There is a steady stream of very low-cost turntables hitting the market. Many of them are sold via colour supplements and the window displays of high street music shops. They include a host of brand names such as Crossley, Ion, GPO, plus other equally dodgy monikers that do a Bose. What I mean by that is they invest a far higher percentage of the product budget on marketing and aesthetics than the actual sonic qualities of their products. All these products threaten to damage your vinyl, principally because of poor build quality. Unlike many journalists out there, I've actually reviewed one or two of them, so I know the horror firsthand. Now, there's another band of turntables out there that still have a low price, but do offer a certain amount of value for money. And by that, I'm looking at turntables below £200. This is the bottom end of the budget sector. So I'm thinking of turntables like the Lenco L-3808 and the Dual MTR75. All of these products rely heavily on parts and labour in China. Now, this particular turntable from Audio-Technica is of that same ilk. The AT-LP3 retails for around £199. It's a belt drive 2-speed design, and it's fully automatic, which means that you can operate this turntable without getting your hands dirty, as it were, or touching the arm during play. It uses an AT91R cartridge. The cartridge arrives with an attractively red SME type AT-HS3 removable head shell, featuring a built-in finger lift. Now, this cartridge arrives with a stylus with a conical profile, which is solid, decent, a good starter, but it's not amazing in terms of detail extraction. And one of the things I would encourage you to do if you do buy yourself an LP3 as soon as you can is to upgrade the cartridge, something along the lines of a VM95E with an elliptical stylus would be just a ticket, I reckon. This cartridge is fitted to a straight tone arm that features a rest for the tone arm, but no safety catch in case of accidental knocks. This is a regretful design decision because beginners can be a little bit clumsy. I know I was. The turntable also features a built-in phono amplifier, which you can access around the rear of the plinth. Now, any phono amplifier is essential to amplify the tiny signals produced by the cartridge. A basic hi-fi amplifier just can't handle the job, and so a specialist phono amplifier is asked to complete the task. And once your built-in phono amplifier raises that signal to an acceptable level, your main amplifier takes over. This built-in model can be useful for 3 reasons. Firstly, not all integrated amplifiers actually feature a built-in phono amp. In this scenario, you would have to buy one, so Audio-Technica save you a job in this particular case. Secondly, well, not everyone wants a standard hi-fi setup. What I mean by that is, with this turntable, you can easily plug the LP3 into a pair of powered speakers. That includes the amplifier actually within the speaker cabinets. And this configuration is ideal if you're short of space. You're living in a bedsit or a flat or a house with not a lot of available space. And lastly, of course, the giveaway phono amplifier is great if you are on a tight budget and you can't afford an external model. Of course, the Audio-Technica phono amp is part of the overall build budget for this turntable, and hence will be limited in terms of its sonic quality. So if sound is a priority, as soon as you can buy yourself an external phono amplifier, do so. Internally fitted phono amplifiers also produce electrical noise which hampers sound quality. External models don't affect a turntable in the same way. Now there's one little quirk about the phono amplifier for this particular turntable that confuses me a lot, and it's this: there is a separate switch at the back of the LP3 which moves the operation of the phono amplifier to and from moving magnet and moving coil operation. Now, moving magnet cartridges are normally cheaper, although there are exceptions of course. They're normally simpler in terms of technology and build. The supplied AT-91R is a moving magnet cartridge, for example. Moving coil cartridges are normally found in far more expensive turntables. Now, you can buy low-cost variants, but models actually worth purchasing cost around, oh, I don't know, £250 and upwards, shall we say? Now, moving coils normally demand fine tolerances from their host turntables to work properly. That is, for you to get the most out of the moving coil design. So why on earth this option has been provided within this particular bottom end budget turntable is anyone's guess, and it confuses the hell out of me. It really does. Why? Because any user of this turntable will be using a moving magnet cartridge only and not a moving coil. I would not recommend, and I'll say this right now, I will not recommend anyone buying a moving coil cartridge for this turntable. Now, such a cartridge will work if you're being particularly stubborn about the whole thing and you want to try it out, but you will not hear the benefits. And even if you do hear some improvements, the majority of those benefits will be lost to the LP3. Hence, buying a moving coil cartridge for the LP3 makes no economic sense at all. Other features include a hinged lid, a damped arm lift, a die-cast aluminium platter, a 4.5mm rubber platter mat, and an all-in weight of 5.2 kilograms. The front of the plinth includes the on-off switch and a power button. And on top of the plinth, there's the 7-inch and the 12-inch selector for automatic operation. Around the back is that strange moving magnet and moving coil switch, phono or line switch, so you can use an external phono amp if you want to, plus the essential RCA sockets and a figure-of-8 power cord plugging to the built-in power supply. A power block is fitted underneath the plinth, which is not the best place, I have to say, because that means that the plinth is subject not only to leaching electronic noise, but also vibration. Moving on to the sound quality tests now, and I began with the legendary Connie Francis, and the album sings Bacharach and David. This is an MGM pressing from 1968, and the lady herself sings in front of a full orchestra. I began the test with the LP3 pushing music through its internal phono amplifier. This configuration is okay and perfectly usable, and as such will get any analog fan underway in terms of playing vinyl. In critical terms though, the music play was a little muffled, a little bit indistinct, especially around the bottom end. In terms of the upper mid-range, there was an element of roll-off at the very top, so the dynamic reach was not the best. That said, as a money-saving option, the built-in phono amplifier is perfectly acceptable. But as I alluded to earlier in the review, an upgrade to an external model is something of a priority, I would say. So that's what I did. I connected an external phono amplifier and listened firstly to the lead vocal. Now, the original recording of this album was a little bit bright, so I was interested to see how the LP3 coped. Yes, there was still a bright tone that hung around various crescendos. Frances did provide lots of energy and vigour and a sense of passion in terms of her delivery. The treble-infused cymbal taps that sat right next to her in the centre of the stereo image were a little unfocused, providing smearing to the upper frequencies. That said, cymbal hits were big, they were bold, and they were never masked by any other frequencies. Although the brass section wasn't the smoothest I've ever heard, and strings never really flowed as they should, the orchestra did offer a grand and rather epic staging that provided Frances with a large canvas to paint her words. The piano was similarly lacking in precision, but did offer a sense of musicality. It was always interesting and added atmosphere to the music. Bass was a little blurry, a little boomy, but it could have been worse. There were some elements of stability there which provided a certain amount of frequency control. You could see, or hear rather, that the turntable was desperately trying to keep control of the lower frequencies. Next, I tried a more contemporary pressing with the high energy sounds of, let's see if I can pronounce this right, Die Werkpiloten, I hope that's correct, via Germany's Vinyl on Demand. This is a 2012 pressing. Via this high energy drum centric song, the blooming bass and smearing mid-range held slightly less sway and importance. The evident musicality of the LP3 rose to a prominence here, allowing the ear just to enjoy the performance and the passion behind the presentation. So what I'm trying to say here, that this turntable seemed to relax around high energy music like rock. It's only when it got to precise music like jazz it tended to struggle. It didn't really maintain its accuracy and tended to wobble all over the place. When it got to rock, it really let loose. And the LP3 was a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed with music like rock, where it could just let loose and party. Okay, the bass guitar was a touch masked within the mix, and some of the shy synth lines were not picked out particularly well, but the overall nature of the music was one of emotion and spirit, and that was particularly noted in the lead vocal. Okay, his voice lacked a sense of subtlety and texture, but he did throw himself into the song with a robust sense of vitality. So what's my conclusions on the Audio-Technica AT-LP3? Yes, there are sonic issues, but let's not forget this is a very low priced turntable, and it comes with those lifestyle features I mentioned, including full automatic play. And if automatic operation is important to you, then the LP3 should certainly be on your shortlist. Yes, the moving coil option is a bit of a puzzle, and there's no USB option, but the automatic play, as I say, works perfectly every time, and the internal phono amplifier could be a lifesaver for those on a budget. More importantly, it's a genuine option when looking at a choice between the LP3 and all of those ions and GPOs you might see. For any beginner to the world of vinyl, the Audio-Technica AT-LP3 is a steady front end for any low budget hi-fi system. And that's me done. Thank you very much for sticking to the end of this video, and I just want to thank Batman again for suggesting this review at all. I've just got a picture of the great man now sitting in front of his hi-fi, sitting in his relaxing chair, cape flowing behind him, little ears listening attentively to the treble and the bass, and in a masked sort of way, thoroughly enjoying himself, and good on him. I'll be back next week with another review. check out the description below because it has all kinds of links to my website, which is full of editorial you won't see in this channel. I've got a Facebook group which you're welcome to join. I have Patreon, which has exclusive editorial up there, so please check that out too. Be great if you can support me and the channel. Then there's all the other social media platforms I'm on, so you're welcome to check me out there as well, and all that jazz. So I hope to see you next week. Love to have your company then. Until that time, bye bye for now.